What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind. Cuckoo, cuckoo. It's the end of a long work day, and I just wanted to get in front of the camera just for a minute because I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Now, the first thing I want to do, as always, is I want to give a big shout out to everyone who likes, everyone who shares, everyone who comments, everyone who subscribes. I love ya. Mwah. And you know, some of you might not understand the reason why I make it a point to do that every single time. And let me explain something to you guys. Very early on, when I first started making these videos, I made up my mind. I made up my mind to myself. I says, look, I'm not going to ask people to like and subscribe. And if you noticed, I don't do it. I don't ask people to like and subscribe. It's just something I just can't bring myself to do, especially when I'm just giving my opinion about something, because inevitably there are going to be people who disagree with me. So I'm not going to kind of put myself out there as if I'm going to always appeal to you and you're going to always agree with me, and that's okay. But when I started noticing, hold on guys, when I started noticing people were liking and subscribing, and the subscriber count started going up and up and up, and people liked and commented and all that stuff, I was like, this is great, because I never asked anyone to do this, but they're doing it because there's just something that I guess that appeals to them. So that is very, very humbling when it happens that way, guys. So that's the reason why I make it a point to always thank my subscribers, the people who comment. It means a lot to me because I didn't ask you to, but you still did it on your own. So it just adds a little bit something to the process. So I thank you guys so much, and we can agree, we can disagree, but we can always be respectful, and it means so much to me, guys. And one good example of why is the last video that I did, or I guess the second to the last video, when I was talking about the possibility of a black Superman. Now, there's a lot of bright bulbs out there who didn't notice that I had quotation marks around "it's time for a black Superman." Quotation marks, which means that I was quoting somebody else. It's not what I was saying. But it didn't stop some of you fucktards, and I'm not talking about the usual, you know, my people. I'm talking about people who came in from other places, who just saw the title of the video and decided they were going to come in and attack me and call me all sorts of names. And it's just ridiculous how you out yourself as a total dimwit, because it's not the point I was making. You didn't watch the video, you fool. So you came in, rah rah, blah 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 blah, and it's on both sides, okay? It's like I got people yelling at me because they felt like it was time to have a black Superman, and then when they started, I guess when they started listening to the video or whatever, they decided they were going to call me all types of names and things like that. And then there are people who just saw the title and decided that that's what I was doing, so they wanted to attack me and attack my whole race of people. I mean, it was ridiculous. And let me tell you guys something. Feel me on this. I can't stand SJWs, but you know something? There's something even worse than an SJW, all right? And that's a UDSOB. That's an uninformed, dumbass son of a bitch, all right? And that is even worse than an SJW, a UDSOB, all right? So to all the UDSOBs who commented without even watching the video, I'm talking about you. Fuck off, all right? On to another video, okay? I don't know how else to put it, okay? I could start ranting and raving here. I guess I kind of am, all right? But yeah, so for everybody who came into the comment section, you know, who were talking like they had some sense, this is the reason why at the beginning of every video I thank you so much for being cool, for being reasonable, for being objective, even when you don't agree with me. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, you know. And to the people who came in acting like a bunch of idiots, that's why you ended up getting blocked. Okay, so anyway, moving on. I want to talk about something else. Thandie Newton, where are you? You knew I wasn't gonna forget you. Okay, now a couple of months ago, I did a video talking about Thandie Newton because Thandie Newton decided she was going to make a big old production out of having a lead role in Solo, a Star Wars story. So Thandie Newton talked about breaking the glass ceiling and how she was the first person of color or woman of color or whatever she was saying to have a lead in a Star Wars movie. She kissed J.J. Abrams' ass from here to Mars and beyond. And I remember at the time, I was going in on her a little bit because I felt like she was exaggerating, like she was making way too much out of it. And of course, the movie came and went. And does anybody remember Thandie Newton's starring breakout role in Solo, a Star Wars story? Does anybody remember this? Show of hands. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? No, I didn't think so. Nobody remembers Thandie Newton's breakout, earth-shattering, glass ceiling breaking role in Solo. Now, you might remember that she was in it, but as far as being the lead, no, she was not. As a matter of fact, Thandie Newton, let me give you a cold dose of reality, honey. I would say that Buckwheat in The Little Rascals got more screen time than you did in Solo, okay? I would say that Hattie McDaniels got more lines in Gone with the Wind than you got in Solo. And she won an Oscar, and that was something like 70 years ago. Not to be cruel, Thandie Newton, but it's just the cold, hard truth. Aunt Jemima has more lines on her box of pancakes mix than you had in that movie, Thandie Newton. And I would know, okay? Look at all those lines. That's more than you had, Thandie Newton. Sorry to tell you. All right, so anyway, there's a reason for this. And Jonathan Kasdan has the reason why Thandie Newton wasn't all she could have been in Solo, a Star Wars story. Okay, so I have this article here, guys, and it's in news.avclub.com. All right, and the headline goes, Solo writer confirms that Thandie Newton was too good for Solo. She was too good. I'm too good for Solo. Too good for Solo. So good. It's a no-go. So anyway, this is by William Hughes. Okay, so it goes on to say, and as usual, guys, I'm going to leave this in the description box so you can read this mess of an article yourself. So it goes on to say, this summer's Solo, a Star Wars story, was a brisk, frivolous little heist picture, one that probably didn't deserve all the weight that's been dropped on its head, from the high-profile departure of its original directors to the flack it took for belaboring every single point of its roguish anti-hero's backstory, to the blame it's taken for apparently killing off many of Disney's more elaborate Star Wars spin-off movie plans. One of the things it does deserve getting crapped on for, though, is the way it wastes a great Thandie Newton performance, given that her character Val, lover and partner of Woody Harrelson's proto-rogue Beckett, dies almost immediately after being introduced. It's true, she was gone. L337 got more lines and screen time than you did, Thandie Newton. Did L337 break the glass ceiling for robots everywhere? Did she make it a big deal all over the place, kissing J.J. Abrams' ass? No! I'm just saying, this is tough love, Thandie, I understand, but you have to understand what you did was irresponsible. Running around all over the place talking about how you were going to be a lead. How were you a lead? You didn't even have Emilia Clarke running around saying, I'm the lead, but that was you, Thandie Newton. Okay, going on. That point has never been clearer than today, when Jonathan Kasdan, who wrote the movie with his dad, Lucasfilm story mastermind Lawrence Kasdan, released a multi-tweet post, essentially offering up a text commentary for the film, which arrives on home video September 25th. The younger Kasdan was involved in the film's production pretty much from day one, so it's all his fault. So he has a lot of thoughts about every stage of its development, including some cool ideas for cut scenes, like a high-stakes canal chase through an earlier iteration of Paul Bettany's criminal headquarters, and little touches like all the Lovecraft references that made their way into the big Kessel Run sequence. But the screenwriter has also taken a lot of online flack for the list, and the film's treatment of Newton is a big part of that. Specifically, people have taken umbrage at entry number 17 on the rundown, in which Kasdan writes, "Oh, in retrospect, Thandie Newton may actually have been too good and too interesting as Val. Thandie is so compelling to watch that the death of her character feels a little like a cheat." But while actor too good is generally a pretty good problem for a movie to have, Kasdan frames it as an unfortunate side effect of Newton's excellence, and not, say, his script's decision to create a female character with the sole intent of throwing her away for cheap emotional effect. Did you hear that, Thandie Newton? You were a throwaway character that was used for cheap emotional effect, okay? Where's that glass ceiling shattering? It doesn't sound like shattering glass to me. It sounds like you hit your head on that joint and came crashing back down. True, the movie structure relies to some extent on Biquette being forced to rely on the untested Han, the fake Han, Faker Han, like Faker He-Man, Faker Han, after his team gets killed. But the choice still highlights how frequently films like this bring this kind of trope into play. People are also annoyed at list entry number 4, where Kasdan states that Han's thermal detonator bluff in the movie's earlier scenes is now retroactively the explicit inspiration for Leia pulling the same stunt in Return of the Jedi, although as though she couldn't come up with the bold, risky plan herself. Yeah, good job, Kasdan. Now you make Leia look like she's not as clever as we thought she was. At some point, she must have gotten the idea from Han, I guess. So you have that. To be clear, it's still pretty cool to see someone intimately familiar with a big budget film break down their reactions to it, even if there is more boss talk than one might reasonably expect. But Kasdan's list also underscores some of the reasons Solo might have ultimately fallen a little flat, and relatively few of them have anything to do with the absence of treacherous lizard bounty hunters beyond the stars. Okay. Well, that's the end of that article, and I just wanted to bring that up. I actually saw that a couple of days ago, but I wanted to bring it up, and I wanted to put it on your lap, Thandie Newton. I wanted you to understand, okay? Because what we're dealing with Disney Lucasfilm right now is we're dealing with a bunch of bullshit SJW theatrics that's not really serving the people who they claim to be serving. It's a phony. It's a fake. It's a joke. Okay, for lack of a better term. And we need to expose this because they're not bringing us any legends from any point of view. You know, when you look at the way they treated the character of Rose Tico. By the way, guys, remind me to tell you my theory on Rose Tico being a traitor. That, yeah, I think she's a double agent because when she stopped Finn from taking out the First Order cannon, I think she was protecting the First Order. I don't think she was saving Finn. I think she was protecting the First Order. If they had the balls, they would make Rose Tico a traitor. Hashtag Rose Tico, traitor! Anyway, moving on. So you have Finn as a person of color, you know, who they just are so proud to throw out there. You have Finn, who's supposed to be a person of color, who doesn't even have his real name, doesn't know who his family is, doesn't know where he came from. He's a janitor, and he's essentially a runaway slave, is what he is. All right, so you have him, you have Val, you have who God knows. I don't keep track of this crap anymore. But the point is that these people are frauds. All right, and I just wanted to put that out there because Jonathan Kasdan, his saying that you were too good for Solo is just bullshit. Okay, so that's what it is, man. And yeah, just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. What do you think about that? You know, and by the way, for one of the people in the comment section before I go talked about me dressing up the background, you know, putting up some posters and things like that. Man, this is my bedroom, okay? This is an apartment that I find myself in after a divorce, okay? I am not trying to decorate this place. I'm trying to get the hell up out of here as soon as I can, all right? But if it makes you feel any better, you want a little bit of atmosphere, here you go. Dan, 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 dan. Okay, woo. Okay, so it's here. Okay, guys. Where's the other thing? I even got Thomas the Train. By the way, I'm gonna post a video that I've been holding on to for a while. I didn't post it, but I think it's becoming relevant again. It's based on an old article about Thomas the Train. So look out for that one. I'm gonna post that one. Ha-ha! So anyway, guys, it's late and I just got home from work not too long ago. So I'm gonna get going. I just wanted to put that out there just to check in with you guys, and I hope everyone is doing fine. And that includes everyone who is in the line of this hurricane that's been going on. I pray, seriously, all right, a moment of real seriousness. I pray that everyone is okay. All right, and you're checking on your loved ones and you're being careful out there, okay? That's real love, guys. Anyway, I'm going to see you guys on the next one, and I'll see you soon. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.